In this video, we're going to discuss a frequently asked question: what is the average reading speed? The average reading speed is 150 to 250 words per minute. Now, I want you to know that depends also on the type of material. This average, 150 to 250, is based on medium level material. So it means that the material is not too easy, it's not too hard, it's somewhere in the middle. It's not, scientific material or very technical, and it's also not Dr. Seuss. That's what medium level means. It's a very broad definition, and obviously your reading speed can change based on a lot of factors, based on your level of focus, your familiarity with the topic. So we all know that, but this is the average reading speed. Now, as far as Accelerator goes, the default settings have Accelerator set up so that it blinks words one at a time at 300 words per minute. So it's a little higher than average, but most people that are reading at 200 words a minute, 300 words a minute is something they can very quickly get used to if they start practicing. That's why we set it up at 300 words per minute. So if you are using Accelerator, know that you should be, if you're trying to improve your reading speed, the one way you can do that is by constantly forcing yourself to go a little faster. So use this application to break out of that level. The average reading speed of 150 to 250, keep in mind that average used to be higher. 30 years ago, it used to be 250 to 350. And the average reading speed has gone down. In my opinion, that's partly because it's a lot harder to focus now than it was 30 years ago. Think about this. 30 years ago, if you were reading, your phone wasn't going off in the middle of a chapter. You didn't get any text messages because you probably didn't have a mobile phone at that time. Other things, we didn't have the urge to check Facebook or the urge to check our email. All of these distractions, I would say, maybe not distractions, but there are a lot more things competing for your attention now than there were 30 years ago. I think that's why the average reading speed has gone down. So it's important to know, how do we focus? And the nice thing about Accelerator is that it allows you to focus all your attention in just one spot right here. So when you're blinking the words, you can just focus on one area. And that actually helps you to improve your reading speed, because the better focused you are, the better your speed is going to be, the better your comprehension is going to be. So keep that in mind. That is the average reading speed. Now, one other thing I want you to know about the average reading speed is that it's based on a 1-minute reading test. And that's a little bit problematic. Now, why do they base it on a 1-minute reading test? It's because it's an easy way to compare apples to apples. It wouldn't be fair to compare a reading test for some people at 1 minute and for other people reading for 15 minutes, other people at 30 minutes. So they always base it on a 1-minute reading test to kind of stay consistent. But the problem is, who reads for 1 minute and just stops? Usually you read for an extended period of time. Obviously it depends on the material that you're reading, how long you're going to read it, but nobody reads for 1 minute and just stops. So I want you to know that the average reading speed, although it's considered to be 150 to 250, realistically, it's probably less. Why? Because if someone's reading for 15 minutes or 20 minutes or 30 minutes or a whole hour, every so often they're going to go back to reread material. You've done it. I've done it. All of us have gone back to reread. And you're more likely to reread when you're reading for an extended period of time than if you're reading for only 1 minute. So these averages, although they're the average reading speed, they're probably inflated by a little bit because it's based on a 1-minute reading test. So keep that in mind as well. But for all intensive purposes, we will use this as our average reading speed. If you want to think of it as one number, we could say it's 200 words per minute.